Welcome everybody to another edition of BTS Live. That's Behind the Scenes Live, and it's episode 11. And as always, I have my partner in crime with me, Mark Rogers. Hey Mark, how are you?
Marty, I'm doing well. What's going on?
Not too much. We had a little snow over the weekend.
You
live up in northern Connecticut, so you must have gotten away pretty unscathed, right?
Yeah, it's
not. I gotta hit the record on Blab.
No snow on the ground right now.
See, I'm glad someone's paying attention. So we're recording on Blab. So again, welcome to BTS Live, episode 11. And Mark, we were just talking about the snow over the weekend. You didn't get hit that hard, I guess, right?
No, basically there's no snow on the ground right now. I'm looking out my patio window and there's nothing out there. It's great.
Nice. Well, we didn't do too bad down here. I think we got about maybe 5 or 6 inches. Not too bad. You go a little south of here, and they got over a foot. And then in New York City, they got clobbered. I think in Central Park, they got almost 2 feet or over 2 feet, which is a record for them. So I'm just glad I wasn't down there.
I know. I've been talking to all sorts of people that just got completely blasted this weekend. You know, they're digging out, they're home from work, all this other stuff. And I was bracing for the worst. I didn't think it was going to be too bad, but at least having to deal with some snow and some shoveling. And it was great. It was probably 2 to 3 inches where I am. And like I say, it's strange because it hasn't been warm since then, but there is no snow on the ground, basically. Maybe a trace.
Not bad.
I'll take it.
And I think, well, I know for us, this was our first significant snow of the season, and we're late January, so this is highly unusual for us. And the forecast is pretty clear for the rest of the week, so we're having a really not a bad winter, so which is good. So, anyways,
now Marty,
enough of the small talk. We'll get right into the show here. And Mark, we're going to start off with you, and I know you're going to kind of cover a topic that you started last week. And talking about credibility, right? And I think you're going to talk about kind of off camera what credibility means.
Yeah, because last week we talked about credibility on camera, and we talked about the many examples that we can find in mainstream media where very highly respected anchors, reporters have blown it, basically because they have either just outwardly lied to the public to make a better name for themselves or create a better story. It's obviously been found out, and then it kills the credibility, and it's very difficult to recover from. Marty and I have made this comment a number of times because over our time at ESPN, which I'm currently still involved with, is the evaluation of operators in the chair, working the product, the studio shows, and so forth, and the remote events. And we have operators who do excellent work for extended periods of time, and then one little slip up or a negligent act on their part, I should say, more so than a human error or just a slip up, but a negligent act on their part, and that damages the reputation for quite some time. So it takes a long time to build a reputation in a positive light. It takes a very short time, 5 seconds, 5 minutes, to destroy a reputation or at least severely damage it. So we talked about last week on-air credibility, building up your credibility, maintaining it, going through the proper channels to very much protect that. Because if you don't have credibility, and again, this is a little bit more of an important aspect for those people that are dealing with serious information and knowledge rather than maybe fun stuff, entertaining stuff, but still there, regardless of your brand and what you're communicating, you got to be credible. And so we talked about that last week in terms of your on-air credibility. I'd like to talk about your off-air credibility in regards to business relationships, the people that and none of us can make it without having strong business relationships. And so I don't have a ton to say right here, but I think what I have to say is very important. So, and I'm sure that a number of you with all your experience out there have some things to talk about in this area. So people work with people that they like. And, that's a personality thing first and foremost. And out of the gate, the first impression thing, your personality is going to help you. But once you get past the personality and once you start making commitments and scheduling appointments and working together with people, then the personality aspect, though it still maintains a certain degree of that relationship, you're going to lose whatever you can gain by your great character and personality. You're going to lose it if you're not reliable. People like to work with people that they can trust, they can count on. So you need to keep appointments. So for example, I'll use myself in this place where I set up appointments and I have to blast it out to 50 people at a time, or smaller groups of 10 to 12 people, where I am looking to fill appointments in my calendar to do interviews, hangouts, labs, those sorts of things. So I am not typically targeting one person because I need to fill out a schedule. And if I just target one person, it's going to take me forever to fill out the schedule. So I'll put a blast out there that I'm ready to go Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, for example. And so I need to communicate to those people as well that this is not directly intended for them and that there are some disclaimers in place. So you need to preface that if that's how you operate. Be on time. If you have hangouts scheduled, Blab scheduled, Blab does a nice thing in that they pretty much make you be on time. Of course, you can reschedule it in the moment, but I like the countdown clock that it keeps the show on time. It keeps the appointment on time. If you do Google Hangouts and you have appointments to be on with someone at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, be there before they're there, especially if you've scheduled the appointment, you've asked them to come on. You don't want them to beat you to the punch and to be, as the guest, beat you to the appointment. So you want to be very reliable, somebody that can be trusted, somebody that can be counted on. I've had a few incidents over the past few years, and I'm sure we all have stories like this, where people have oversold themselves. So do not oversell yourself. I've had people offer me opportunities. Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to build out this platform, and it's going to be like this, and we need you to host this. And we're all excited, and they get all pumped up and ready to go. And they've pretty much not figured out the cost involved, not just the monetary cost, but the cost of doing business, the time commitment. And they put way too much on their plate, and they've not shared that up front. And then I have learned not to overextend myself the other way. So do not risk money. Do not risk another portion of your business to trust somebody who you can't trust. Not because maybe they've proven themselves to be distrustful, but they just haven't proven themselves to be trustful at this point, or where they can be trusted. So do not risk those things. Do risk minimal money and risk minimal time, or risk to your other portions of your business. Don't compromise there for somebody until they have proven that they are trustworthy. So I will respond to all sorts of requests and so forth, and go on certain ventures with people if it's basically, to this point, has just extended my business or extended what I do anyway, and it's not really cost me anything at this point. Because again, I've had radio deals, I've had internet deals, websites offered, and where things have been built out, and unfortunately other people have been involved, and they've given up a much greater quantities of time and given up brand names to go in with somebody who is not reliable. Maybe the person had good intentions, maybe they're really honest, but they didn't bring it, they didn't follow through because they had too much going, they bit off more than they could chew. I have found out about other individuals who didn't necessarily have the best intentions to start with. That's a whole other matter. So as far as you can tell, and as far as is under your control, be trustworthy, be on time, be accountable, make your commitments. If you need to disclaim a commitment, if you need to disclaim an appointment to say, hey, I'm good for this Friday at noon unless such and such comes up. So what I like to say is, hey, if you have something else going or another opportunity comes up, don't hold your spot for me because I'm not sure about Friday at noon. It looks pretty good right now, but I'm not positive. So if something else comes up, take it. Don't build your day around me. So that's how I'll disclaim those situations. So again, I've heard it often said. I think it goes way back to saying that you want to be innocent as a dove and you want to be clever as a fox. So don't let anybody else pull the wool over your eyes. At the same time, you want to be innocent, honest, trustworthy, and you want to build that credibility because that's going to last. Again, it might be your personality to get you in the door, but nobody's going to work with you long term if they can't count on you and if they can't trust you. So hopefully, I know this is some very basic stuff, but some good reminders to keep. And you may be an extremely trustworthy person, but you're usually lagging behind time. You don't keep your appointments. You need to clean that up because that's what people are evaluating you on at this point. And you need to make that first and second good impression to kind of nail it with your business relationships, because once you damage that, it's difficult to get it back.
Boy, I think words of wisdom, certainly. And I think that it's funny because there was an incident recently, and the names aren't important, but a high-profile marketer received an email blast from another marketer, and this marketer took a very crass, maybe is a good crass approach, and a very insulting email, and he blasted it out to his list. And a lot of questions came up about this particular marketer as far as integrity and trustworthiness. And I think and he did it in a way that he thought that he could kind of make some waves and hopefully pad his bottom line, and looking out for the money part. But I think the integrity and the trustworthiness has to come first, above money, above all that. If you don't have that, then you burn all these bridges and you're not going to have a business after a while. So Mark, I think you raised some excellent points. And it's funny as we get into, video production and folks that are doing shows on Blab or any kind of streaming shows where you might have an interview. I think the commitment and the trustworthiness as far as setting that up is important, and the integrity and doing what you say you're going to do. So Mark, excellent points.
Hey Marty, if I can just jump in here, I
Sure.
think you brought up a good point there that I missed in regards to the immediate interaction that we have because of email, because of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and on down the line. That the adage of reading what you've written, going back, especially if it's an emotional topic, and certainly even if you're in the right, even if that person's wronged you, even if you're defending a good position, read what you've written, give it some time, give it some thought, understand that if you want to be a professional, if you're just on here messing around, so forth, I really, it kind of sickens me to be pretty blunt with the mean-spiritedness that's on social media. So even if you just want to portray yourself as a good person and are not thinking about the business aspect of it, hey, I would still ask for you to consider what you write. But people are extremely mean-spirited and act very emotionally on social media. So I would just ask that you would realize that once it's out there, it can't be taken back. We all know that, but sometimes we don't know it in the moment. So keep that in mind in regards to that immediate response or interaction with somebody. If you're doing this as I'm doing this, and many of you, you're going to have detractors, and typically they're not going to be fair. I don't mind if somebody disagrees with me and brings a very professional point to the table and we can have a healthy debate and discussion. That's great. I love that. What I don't like is when people are fair, they name call, they do all those things, but you have to maintain a professional stance regardless of what's brought in your face, and just maintain your integrity, your credibility, and take at a measure what you're communicating back in response, because people, you are going to, if you've not embarked on this, and Marty and I are hopefully getting you set, to create content, produce a show, do those things, you're going to have detractors, and that's actually a good thing. That marks a little bit of success, that you're 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 um you're engaging with some people. That's not always going to be in a positive sense. There's going to be negative feedback, and you're going to have to deal with that in a professional way.
No,
You
it's,
know
I
what?
mean,
I want to apologize. I'll
sure.
apologize for something real quick before I let Marty go. So the whole intent here when Marty and I set up was that I was going to be able to hear, obviously, but I also was going to jump on Blab uh, and be able to look at the conversation. Then I saw my shot was way too close, so I backed up the laptop onto something behind me, so I can't even interact. And that was the intention. So the laptop's too far away to interact with. But so I enjoy the comments. But so we'll talk after Marty gets done here.
It's funny you mentioned that, Mark, because you should see the setup I have here, the gyrations I go through as far as setting up my monitor. I have a large 27-inch monitor right in front of me. It's actually off the desk, so it's hiding below the camera, so I can kind of look, and I have enough. It's big enough where I can at least make out what's going on there. And in fact, I'm going to make the thing bigger here so I can actually see it even more. But yeah, that's totally understandable, you know, as far as trying to see it. And here comes Barb coming in here. Oh, that's right. Barb did not mean to come in. Anyways, so Mark, that's excellent. And again, trustworthiness, integrity. If you don't have that, you know, especially if you're in business, you have nothing. And there might be some shortcuts you may be, you know, think you can take, but in the long run, and in fact, if you're in business, that should be for the long run. It's not going to work out. You know, it's just that, you know, do it the right way, certainly. So, anyways, let me get on to some couple. Now, today, want to show you a couple things. I want to show you some hardware that I got from Logitech, and then I'm going to show you a very cool app on the iPhone that I think you'll enjoy. So, anyways, let's get right to it then. So, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go to my other camera shot so you guys can see. So, what I have here is the Logitech ConferenceCam Connect, and you can see by my hands here, it's pretty hefty. Now, full disclosure, Logitech sent this to me a couple weeks ago. I've been wanting to get it on the show here, so they sent it to me for free to check out, and so I'm gonna do that. So just to give you a tour of this, and this particular camera here is really set up for conferences and groups. This panel here is a remote control, and then over here I'm gonna bring it closer to the camera here, so you'll see that it has the lens there. Yeah, it does kind of look like it's like a cylinder, and it has the lens right here. Some controls. It has zoom, has a mute control for the mic, has a built-in mic. It's actually a 360-degree microphone, and then you have the remote control. I'm just trying to center it up here and get a little closer. And you have a mute switch there. You have that toggle switch there, which allows you to raise and lower the camera, zoom in and out. So let me do this. Let me come on camera here. I actually prepared a video in advance and actually tested this camera, and I hooked it up to my computer. Now, since I couldn't conference with anybody, what I did was I just recorded the camera output, both video and audio, into QuickTime, and just prepared a little video for you to give you a sense of what the camera's all about from a real world test. So I'm going to play that for you now, and then we'll come back and then talk a little bit more about this Logitech ConferenceCam Connect. Okay, this is an example of the video and audio from the Logitech ConferenceCam Connect. I have my remote control here, and I can pan down, pan up. I can go side to side. I can also zoom out and zoom in. Just to give you an idea, I'm about an arm's length away from the camera. It's got a nice wide angle lens on it. And there you go. That'll give you an example of the video and audio quality from the Logitech ConferenceCam Connect. Okay, well that was a video I did earlier today just to give a test. And the audio was coming from the, now let me take some questions here. Knight Rider says, is this USB 2.0 or 3.0? I'm actually going to show this. Let me just switch to my close-up camera here. So it's actually got like a mini USB connector there. The bottom connector, and it's not focusing for me, but the bottom connector right there is HDMI. And I'll tell you what that does in a second. This second one here is the AC adapter. This is the USB right here I'm pointing to. Okay, and it hooks directly up to your computer, so it'll hook up as a camera source. So it'll work with Skype. I'm sure it works with Google Hangouts. Any kind of conferencing software that you can hook up a camera to. And I was going to show you another video from Logitech, but I think it has some copyrighted music, so I'm not going to show it to you. But really, this camera is designed primarily for a conference room. So what you can do is you can put this camera in the middle of the room, and since it has 360-degree audio, it'll pick up from all sides. And then, as I demoed, it has zoom control, so you zoom in and out. You can control the camera from the remote control itself. So it's nice there. HDMI out is neat. Now, let me explain the HDMI portion of it. This also has a functionality for screen share. So the HDMI part of it is, say if you have a monitor in the conference room, you can actually take the HDMI, hook it up through the camera here, and say if you have a smartphone or tablet, you can actually screen share from your smartphone through the camera and make it part of the conference. So that's kind of a neat feature. I'm gonna go to the website and kind of show you and kind of make sure that I'm going through some all the features here. So really well designed for work groups. USB plug and play, as I mentioned before. Has a rechargeable battery, so it will work. It doesn't need to be plugged in. Will work on battery. It's got built-in H.264 encoding, which is very important. This is what it's saying right here. It's onboard encoding, which means it takes a lot of the horsepower and a lot of the strain off your computer. So if you're using it with a laptop, the encoding actually happens inside the camera, which is great because, again, it's not going to slow down your computer. Works with most video conferencing software. It's got Bluetooth built in. It's got wireless screen share, as I mentioned before. It's a pretty neat camera. It's not cheap, I will say that. It's really meant for business. I think it retails for $499, so it's not cheap. But again, it's pretty portable. You pop it down on the desk, and again, it's great for business. So if you have a business and you're looking for a camera that kind of handles a large group, this will do it. This is a 90-degree angle on the camera. Isn't high for something like that. Yeah, that's true. It isn't. So that's the ConferenceCam Connect. The website that you want to go, Logitech. If you search Logitech ConferenceCam Connect, you'll get more information from Logitech. But that's the ConferenceCam Connect. So let's get into the other thing I have for you, and this is an app, and I came across this the other week, last week, and I couldn't wait to show you guys. This is from a company called Teradek, and it's the Live Air Solo. And Teradek is a company that makes encoding devices. So they make a device called the Video, which I'm actually using to stream to YouTube. So it's my encoding device that I'm actually using to stream this show to YouTube right now. So they've been in business a long time, and they've got this app that you can get for iPhone. In fact, I'm going to go to my other camera. Let me switch my close-up and open this up. So this right here, in fact, let me go to the web page. This is the Live Air Solo. And what's cool about this is you can stream to any RTMP, and Carlos has already downloaded it. What's cool about this is you can stream to any RTMP destination, real-time media protocol destination. So what are those? YouTube Live is RTMP. Ustream is RTMP. There's several others. Stream Up. There's a ton of them out there. Other CDNs. And literally you can stream direct from your phone. Now, not only can you stream direct, but you can also add graphics, and you can play videos as part of your live stream from your phone. And I think the best way to show this to you guys is to actually show you a video that I did earlier today. In fact, let me just cue it up. This I did a test video, and this is from an actual live stream that I did earlier today as a test. So what I did was I took the phone with the app and I streamed directly to YouTube. And then what I did was I just downloaded the YouTube video. So what you're seeing here is the unedited video that I did earlier today using Live Air Solo. So let me go to that now. This is streaming. This is something I did earlier today. So this is streaming live to my YouTube account from the Teradek Live Air Solo, and I'm using the front-facing camera. And then I can also switch to the rear-facing camera. It's on-screen control here. So the rear-facing camera, I'm just showing my computer screen. Here's the website from Teradek. And let me switch it back here. So a couple of cool things you can do with this. One, you can add graphics or lower thirds. So I'm going to put my lower third in. And that just pops right in. I pre-populated that earlier. So it has my name and my Twitter handle. And then I'm going to take that out. And then the other cool thing you can do is play video clips. I'm just swiping this in from the side there. You can play video clips that are on your phone as part of your broadcast. So I'm going to play this Hawaii clip from Hawaii. And I'm just going to touch it here. Try not to block the camera. And this should come in as a dissolve. So that video clip was playing directly from my phone, streaming live to YouTube, and this is pretty cool. So you can not only stream to YouTube, but any RTMP destination that you have. This and the best thing is this is free. So, and again, I'm just hand holding this right now. So this is very rough, and I'm just using my earphones and the mic on the earphones. So this gives you a sense of what it's like, the Teradek Live Air Solo. And I'm just going to fade. I'm going to put my lower third back in. If I can swipe over. There we go. So that'll do it. The Live Air Solo, free from Teradek. All right, that gives you some idea of what's possible there. And let me look at some of the comments here. Steven, the Tech Buzz, raises a very good point. The problem I'm seeing already is that with these iOS switcher-based solutions that have additional features cause you to accidentally cover the camera. Absolutely right. That I was using, in that particular case, I was using the front-facing camera. I think these would be much better using the rear-facing camera. But yeah, that's a challenge on the iPhone because the way this thing's, and I'm gonna switch. Let me switch to the close-up camera and show you guys. So the lower thirds come in over here. Make sure you can guys see it. Lower. I'm trying to balance this too, trying to get it centered. But the lower third's over here, and you hit it, and you can see where the camera is. And so it's very difficult to kind of work around and not cover the camera. And then on the other side, you have, there's notifications. On the other side, you have the other shots. So I can actually lay in a shot of a video I have on my phone on the other side and take it live to the stream. But it is a challenge, no question about it. I think that Steven is absolutely right. And it is a challenge with these devices because, again, the iPhone is so small, but I show it as an example of what's going on in this space. I mean, the good news is it's a free app, so which is pretty amazing, you know. Now, Teradek does have another app that is a switcher app that you can get for your iPad. And let me show. I'm gonna go to that here. So it's the Live Air. I'm just gonna show you guys on. And this is an iPad app that they offer as well, very similar. It's called the Live Air, and this is more of a switcher app that Teradek offers. Now the difference here is this is a paid app. The free version, you can do only so much. The upgraded version, I'm just reading the thing here. There's a $49 basic version and $99, and that has to do with the streaming as well. And this is just one. I will make a plug here for a show for tomorrow night. I'll be on Broadcast Now with Stephen Haywood, Tech Buzz. He's in the room right here. And it's kind of part two of these. We had a discussion about live streaming apps, mobile live streaming, video streaming. And we're going to get into some of these apps that are coming along. And now these I'm showing here happen to be iOS apps. But I think what's happening here is the processing power is catching up to what the desire is of what you want to do. So, you know, just as little as a couple of years ago, this wouldn't have been possible on a tablet or a phone because the processing power wasn't there. Now you got such systems where these chips in these devices are so powerful that you're able to do this stuff on tablets, on the phone. There are devices where you can use your iPhones or multiple iPhones as cameras and use, say, an iPad as a switcher. And we'll be getting to that. And Carlos is saying I use these apps on a few episodes. Absolutely. And Steven, if you're here, if you want to drop a link for tomorrow night's show, there you go. The techbuzz.net/live. That'll be something definitely to tune in. If you're interested in this stuff, we'll be having a more in-depth discussion with Steven and Mike and myself. But that's really what's possible. I think with the Teradek that I'm showing you, again, the cool thing is it's free. And if you have an iPhone, you can play around with it. You know, it's a good chance to kind of play around and see what you can do. But I think this is really just the beginning. You know, these devices are just going to get more powerful as we go. And again, it's the accessibility that we're seeing. You still need to play. You know, here's the thing, though. You know, it's accessible. And Steven goes, I'm not knocking these apps, but clearly a non-broadcaster made them. Little tweaks could fix them. Absolutely right. Steven makes an excellent point. And JS, no, it will not work with your Trio 750. I remember I had one of those back in the day, but unfortunately it will not work with that. But again, you know, we're on the very early days here, you know, and this is by no means replacement for professional gear. The professionals still have an advantage, but it does put the accessibility for this video in the hands of a lot more people. And again, you know, it's not a substitute for not preparing for your show and making sure you have good content, make sure you have good presentation. You know, using tripod. If you're using this, use a tripod. I was hand holding it for the purposes of that demonstration, but I could see how it could really be a cool utility for when you're in an area that you can't bring a full crew. You know, and then if you can add in a graphic on the screen itself, a lower third. In fact, you can add full screen graphics with the Live Air Solo. You can even play video clips directly to your stream. So if you pre-recorded something, it's kind of nice in that respect. Again, it's very dependent on your bandwidth. So you're gonna make sure you have solid bandwidth. That there's no substitute for that. But again, this is kind of the dawning of all these apps, and it's really cool. Let me bring Mark back in here and go to the 2-box here. Hey, Mark. So what'd you think of that? You have a now. What iPhone do you have, Mark?
This is very unfortunate, Marty. But when you went to the first video, I could see the video about 10 minutes ago. I could see it, couldn't hear anything. That video, I'm seeing nothing but your avatar.
Really?
So you're seeing and hearing me fine, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't see anything but your avatar, and it's been that way for, I don't know, 10 minutes at least.
Okay. I think everything's going on the stream just fine.
Okay.
So it
very
might
good.
be something, communication going back to you on.
I heard the iteration, but I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can watch the rear.
I will. I'll need to.
Anyways, let me get to some of these comments here. So nothing is a replacement, it's competition. I disagree. I've done a clean job using these. Yeah, I mean, I think we're very, very early days here on these devices, and again, you have the tools. It doesn't necessarily replace preparation and good content. Using a tripod. I think one of the other challenges here for these apps is audio. A lot of these apps using the built-in mic on the device, and that's usually not all that great. Now, for the purposes of the demonstration I showed you, I was using my Apple earbuds and the microphone built into those. So that's limited. You only have so much you can do. So it's not a replacement for professional gear at all. But again, it's coming, and it's getting better and better and better. And even the sensors on these phones are incredibly advanced now, just in the past few years, and that's what's making a lot of this possible as well. Even 4K on these phones, and the quality of the video is making a lot of this stuff possible. We can get very, very good results, especially on the video. So anyways, I think that's all we have for this week. We'd like to get into some questions and comments. Mark, if you have a few minutes, what I'm going to do is end the formal show, and we'll pop into Blab and continue this discussion in Blab. So, guys, thank you very much. Stand by. For those of you here on Blab, we will take your questions, but I'm just going to end the formal show right now. Mark, it's been a pleasure. Again, we'll be back again next week, 2 p.m. Monday. Same time, same bad channel. And for another edition of BTS Live. Mark, thanks for coming.
Always, Marty. I learn a lot.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys. See you next week.